All right, thanks for joining Barre class today. We're going to start by setting our posture. Feet underneath your hips, lift up through those legs, lift those hips up off the legs, lift the rib cage up off the waist, make lots of room to engage that lower core, roll your shoulder blades down the back, lift your chin, feel the back of your head over the back of your spine, top of the head lifted to the ceiling. Feel all this extension, all this length. Inhale, arms up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Let your rib cage expand. On the exhale, push up with your diaphragm, lifting all that air out. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Our theme today is going to be weights. So we're going to be using our weights a lot, not just in our arm series today. So make sure you have your little weights or your water bottles or whatever you're using, just to give you a little bit of extra weight. And of course, you can always just use body weight. We're going to start with some warm-up moves. Let's start in a second position. So feet are wider than hip distance, toes out at about a 45-degree angle. Lift those arms out into a second position. When you come down into your plie, knees go over your toes, head and shoulders are lifted. We're not bowing forward at the waist. We're going to plie, rise up to releve. Plie, come onto your toes. Plie to your toes. Plie, toes. Nice. Holding on to that core as you come down into the plie. That's what's going to give you that nice, tall, upright head and shoulders. Lift. Lift. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk it in. We're going to come into our first position now. So that's the same thing, but with heels together. Put your right toes on the floor. Open up that leg. Feel the extension coming all the way up to the hip. Left toes open up. Zip up those thighs. Arms out again for balance. We're going to come into a front and side battement, alternating sides. A battement is just a kick with a straight leg. So you're going to sweep that foot off the floor to the front, sweep to the side, front and side, front and side. Working to keep your hips square. So particularly when you go into that side battement, that hip wants to hike up so you can get a little more height. But engaging the core, having control is more important than height, and we're just warming up. Kick to the side, oops, kick to the side, kick to the side, kick to the side. 2 more sets. Front, side, last set, front, side, front, side, and release. Feet square, our last warm-up move. We're just going to do an unweighted Romanian deadlift, coming to a windmill. So set your posture, feet are parallel, arms up again, reaching forward, nice flat back, lift, twist, and lift. Center, flat back, twist, and lift. You can spread your feet a little more if you want to get deeper into that twist, but that takes a little bit of work out of the glutes in that Romanian deadlift, so you don't get as much warm up there. So totally up to you which foot position you prefer. Twist, forward, and twist, forward, and twist. One more set, forward, and twist, forward, twist, rise it up. Picking up your weights, we're going to come to our arm series. We're going to start with our 90-degree raise countdown. 90-degree raise, one arm in front, one arm to the side. Switching to the other side. Shoulders, hips stay square, so no swiveling. It's just those arms that are moving. And we're going to count down 8 pulses on each side. So roll those shoulders back, Lift those weights up. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Getting close to the end. We're not going to be done though. 2, 1. 2, 1. And now front, 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 front. Nice. Holding square, the hips and the shoulders. Lots of work happening in that core to keep the body from twisting. Lots of work happening in the shoulders too. Keep it up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the weights down. We're going to come into a standing upright row. Feet stay parallel. Lift up tall, shoulders back. Row those arms along the body. Lead with the elbows. Push your shoulder blades down as you get to the top of the movement. That will keep your shoulders away from your ears, and it will engage your back. This is a little bit shoulders, but it's also a little bit back. Lift for 4, 3, 2, 1, and pulse, pulse, pulse. Pulse your elbows up and down. So don't think about your hands moving. We're not moving the hands. We're pulsing the elbows up and down, not shrugging the shoulders. Those shoulder blades stay down the back. Pulse, pulse, pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set them down. Coming into our triceps. We're going to have feet maybe a little bit wider apart, hip distance apart, a soft knee hinging from the hips, skier position, no booty out, no booty in, just a nice straight line, engaged core. Roll those shoulders back and lift those hands up above the glutes if you can, pulsing up, up, up. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Lift, 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 keeping the chest open, not letting those shoulders hunch over, but staying nice and lifted here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring pants together. So bringing them close to one another. In, 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 in. Nice. Keeping them lifted above the booty if you can for 8, 7, 6, 5. We're going to stay lifted. 3, 2, 1. Now just point your elbows up to the sky just a little bit. Arms stay parallel, so don't let those elbows flare out. They're pointing up to the sky. Lift, lift, lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll it down. Nice. Roll those shoulders. Get a little bit of tension out. We're going to come into first position for our together ups. Heels together. Feel that rotation coming all the way up to the hip. Arms straight in front. Lift, reach, extend. So we're working our biceps and our shoulders. Shoulders stay away from the ears. Chest is open. Core is engaged here. We've got our arms way in front of us, so the core has to work to compensate for that altered center of gravity. Out and up, out and up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now just in, out, elbows parallel to the floor, hands coming straight toward the face, or I guess more on either side of the face. Not flaring the elbows out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to continue with those biceps. Palms are facing front, crossing over, elbows tucked to the side, crossing over from one shoulder, tap the other shoulder, tap, 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 tap for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cross up, 2, 3, 4. We're doing like 1/4, 3/4. 7, 8. Cross other side. Down, up, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms down. We're going to get our chair or go to your banister or wall or high table or whatever you're using for your bar. We're going to keep our weights. We're going to kind of intersperse the more arm work with our bar work. So we're going to start though with both hands facing the bar, feet together and parallel, squeezing those inner thighs together. We're going to come into our chair squat. So we're pushing that booty way behind us to sit in a chair, rise it up. Push behind, rise it up. Feet stay parallel, thighs stay squeezed together. Knees stay way behind those toes. Working to isolate those glutes. If you have a fixed bar, not a chair, but something that's stable, you can try to keep your head and shoulders upright, but you really have to have something stable for that. 4, 3, 2, 1. You can let go of your bar, pulse here, pulse, 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 pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Second set, releve, rise up on those toes, thighs still together, squeezing, squeezing, nice tall upright, head and shoulders, pushing back, rising up, push back, rise up. So keeping those heels lifted throughout this movement. Push and rise, push and rise for 8, 7. Nice straight spine, even if you don't have your fixed bar. So not hunching over. You want to keep your head and shoulders as upright as possible. 3, 2, 1. Grab one of your weights. Staying up here. We're going to reach. So your hips are fixed here. You're bending at the waist to engage those obliques. Thighs are squeezed, heels are lifted. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch sides, side to side for 8, 7, 6. Squeezing those thighs. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand it up. Staying with the bar, keeping our weight. We are going to come into an arabesque. So we're going to lift the leg that's next to the bar. So you got one hand on the bar, lift the other leg. You've got your weight in your outside hand. Make sure your hips are square to the floor. They kind of want to open like this, but we're staying square. Our body is staying parallel. And we're going to do some one arm fly here. Roll that shoulder blade back, lift that arm, lift. And again, shoulders stay square as you're lifting through this fly. Lift and lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. We're going to stay up there. 3, 2, 1, and pulse, pulse. Make sure your head is in line with your spine. You might want to drop your head just to get a little relief. Don't do that. All the blood will rush there and it'll be really bad. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switching sides. Weight on the other hand. Bar on the other side. Again, lifting that leg that's next to the chair into our arabesque, straight line, top of the head down to those pointed toes. Roll that shoulder blade back, fly that other arm, fly. Squeezing those shoulder blades together at the top. This work is coming from the back. If you're feeling it all in the shoulders, really try to engage that back instead. Lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pulse, 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 pulse. And really in this pulse, you have to concentrate on engaging the back. Pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back to center. Bring your bar back to your original position. If you have a paper plate or a glider, or you're on a hard floor and have a sock or a towel, grab that now. We're going to come into gliding rear lunges. If you don't, that's fine. You can just come into a stepping rear lunge. So we're going to start with the glider under one foot, facing the bar, holding onto it. Nice, tall, upright head and shoulders. Reach way back. So you have the support of this bar. Try to get a 90-degree angle here with this knee. Back leg is straight. Slide it back in. Back. And slide it back in. Nice. So you should really feel this glute, this standing glute, working, working, working to glide that heavy leg back in, out, and glide. Catch it on the rug. Out and glide. Lots of work here. Oh, it's super annoying. Out and glide. Out and glide. 4 more like this. So nice tall head and shoulders, reaching way back. Knees staying way behind the toes. 3, glide in, heavy glide. 2, glide in. Last one, stay back here, and we pulse, 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 pulse. So if you're on the glider, those back toes are moving just a couple inches front to back. So much work in the standing glute. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time, pull it in. Shake out that standing leg. Put the glider under it. And let's switch to the other side. Take a second, reset your tall posture and your alignment, head in particular, and glide it back. Draw it in. Glide it back. Draw it in. So heavy, gliding so far behind you. Nice and slow. Getting to your full extension. Back. Micro pause so that we're not bouncing back up. You got to use all muscle to get yourself back up here. Lift. Push back. And lift. Push back. And lift. 4, 4. Lift. 3. Lift. I hope that standing leg is feeling it in the glute. 2. And lift. Push back. Get ready to pulse, 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 pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drag it in. And put that glider to the side. Still facing the bar, we're going to come into our first position plie series. So get into your first position, start with feet parallel, lift up the right toes, turn out that knee, lift up the left toes, turn out that knee. Feel that turnout coming all the way through. You should almost feel like your inner thigh is exposed to the outside, that much opening. So lifting up tall, we're going to start with a simple demi plie. Only come as deep into your plie as you can without your heels lifting up. My left heel lifts up slightly because I have a short Achilles tendon from an injury. Plie, plie. So working on keeping your head and shoulders super tall, just working on that posture. Nice lift. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay down here in demi, both heels on the mat or on the floor. Pulse, pulse, pulse. You can lift up your arms into fifth if you'd like. Pulse, pulse, pulse. If arms are up, shoulders are down. Head is straight up to the sky. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands back on the bar. We're going to come into our grand plie now. So coming through your demi, when your heels can't stay on the floor any longer, lift them all the way. Heels down, rise up. Plie, heels down, rise up. Core engaged, super tall with that head and shoulders. Always thinking about those heels coming down to the floor as soon as possible. Rise up, down, rise up for 8 and lift. 7 and lift. Nice. 6 and lift. And the depth of your demi is just personal. I mean, of your grand is just personal. 5, 4, Just as deep as you feel comfortable. 3, 2, get ready to pulse. Last one, heels lifted. We pulse, pulse, pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, shake it out. Nice. Grabbing a weight again. Weight is optional, of course. We're going to be facing the bar. Weight is behind one knee. Arms on the bar, so our body is facing forward here, but we're not collapsing the belly. We want to have a nice strong core lifting up from below. Hips are square. Lift that heel up to the ceiling. Lift, 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 lift. Nice. Just a little movement. It won't feel like much when we start, but that glute is going to kick in real soon. Standing glute working too. Lift, lift, lift. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep that leg lifted. Kick the heel to the glute. Kick, kick, kick. Squeeze that weight. Kick, kick, kick. Keeping that knee as lifted as you can. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switching legs. Bring that there. Weight behind the knee. Bending forward, square your hips, square your shoulders, lift that heel to the sky. Lift, 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 lift. Keep it going, lift, 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 lift. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep that knee lifted. Kick, kick, kick. Squeeze that weight. Kick, kick, kick. Squeeze the weight. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grab the weight. Set it aside. Excuse me, I think I may have gotten a package. All right, coming back to face our bar one last time. We're gonna come into our calf raises. Actually, let's start parallel. So feet under hips, hip distance apart. Lift up the body. You can rest your hands on the bar, or you can rest one hand on the bar, up to you. Other arm can be out or on your hip. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift, lift. So keeping your body alignment here. Lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming into our first position now. So we're in our first position. Lifting up, zip up those hips, nice and lifted. So when we come into our releve in first position, feel your inner thighs and your quads engage first before your calves kick in. So pushing those knees out before your heels even lift the floor. Engage and down, engage and down. So it's more like your legs are being pushed apart by those quads and those adductors than that you're lifting up by your calf. The lifting is more of almost coming from above and pushing from below. Levitation. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay up here and pulse, pulse, pulse. You can balance. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Heels down. Push your feet back. Try to bring your heels to the mat. Body is in a nice straight line. Give yourself a good calf stretch. All right. Put your chair or bar to the side. We are done with that. We're going to do our first core move standing though. So get a weight. We're going to come into our second position. So feet wide. And we're going to have this weight overhead between our hands, dropping into our plie. Reach to the side, reach to the side. So that rib cage is going up and over. The hips are staying in place. You're trying to be between two panes of glass. So you're not leaning forward. You're going up and over, up and over, up and over. Nice. Up and over. You should really be feeling that core work. Just your head and your arms is a lot of weight. And then adding even that teeny weight brings even more work into it. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stick with one side. Pulse, 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 pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. Pulse, pulse, pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift, straighten. Keep your weights handy, but we are going to put our mat out now. So lay out your mat. We are going to start on our back, coming into a full sit up. So you can have your feet, you can have your legs together, which is a little bit harder, or you can spread your legs out for stability, or somewhere in between, whatever you want. Arms are going to be up. Drop those shoulders down to the mat so we're not lifting the shoulders up. Feel how nice and open your chest is. We're going to keep that opening. We're going to lift our arms as we lift up our body. Lift, roll it down. Lift, roll it down. So to the extent you can, using muscle to lift yourself up. So start by pushing down those lower abs, pushing that belly button down to the spine. That lowering movement will help your head and shoulders to lift so that your body stays in some kind of alignment. Lift, roll down. Nice roll down through all those vertebrae, good articulation. Roll down for 4, 3, 2, roll down. Last 1. We're going to only roll halfway down here. So halfway down, pulse, pulse, pulse. This should feel really intense. Pulse, you should feel it all in your core, all those abs muscles. Pulse, pulse. pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll it all the way down. Extend those arms, extend those legs. Nice stretch here. You can walk one leg and then walk the other. Nice. Coming into a side plank. I like to roll up my mat for some cushion, my elbow. And in the side plank, you can be on your knees. You can be on the bottom knee with the top leg extended. You can extend both legs, top foot in front, or you can stack your feet. Your weight is optional here, but you can use it if you'd like on your hip, down and up, down and up. So dipping that hip, down and up for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pulse, pulse, pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch it to the other side. So again, I like to roll up my mat. Choose your position of your knees and your feet. Regardless, you should have a nice straight line. Heels, knees, hips, elbow, shoulder. Coming up, weight optional, dip and up, dip and up. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And pulse, pulse, pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming to the mat. Let's come into kind of a dynamic boat pose. So you're going to have glutes on the mat, hands on the mat behind you, thighs squeezed together, chest open. So your chest really wants to collapse and the shoulders want to collapse. Chest open, shoulders down away from the ears, squeezing those thighs, lift and tap the heels. Lift those legs, tap the heels. Nice straight spine, as straight as you can make it. Squeezing those thighs, lift. Roll the tailbone underneath you as you lift up those legs. That engages the lower abs and it gives you a fulcrum and a lever for lifting those legs. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay in this boat for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming all the way over into our plank. You can be on knees or on toes. Maybe I'll start on knees just so you can see how the knees would be. So you got a nice straight line from the booty, knees, shoulders. We don't want to pop that booty up, and we definitely don't want it to collapse down. We're going to walk the right hand out, left, walk it in and in. Other side, out, out, in, in. If you want to be on your toes, same thing. Out, out, in, out, out, in. So trying to minimize wiggle in the hips. You can spread your feet or your knees to give you a more stable base. If you feel like you're wiggling too much and not getting your core work, out, in, out, in. 2 more sets. Out, in, 1 more set. Out, in, hold this plank for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push back into your child's pose, big toes together, knees apart, arms in front of you, fingers spread. All right, last strength move before we come into our stretch. We're gonna grab 1 or 2 weights for a glute bridge. Feet are hip distance apart, chest is open, tuck those shoulder blades under. You can have your hands holding the weights on your hips, or your hands can be flat on the mat next to your hips. Inhale, exhale, roll through, lift it up, roll down. Inhale, arch that back, exhale, roll through, lift it up, roll back down. One more time, inhale, arch the back, open the rib cage, exhale, roll it through. So this time we're just gonna stick with that roll and lift, just grazing the mat with the glutes instead of coming all the way down and coming through that rolled spine. But feel the way those vertebrae were articulating. Try to maintain that rolling motion. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pulse, 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 pulse. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll it down. Weights to the side. You made it. All that's left is the stretch. Let's start with a stretch for our glutes. Let's start with a figure 4 stretch. So 1 ankle above the opposite knee. Reach through for that thigh or for the shin. Try to bring the head and shoulders back to the mat. Try to have the tailbone on the mat. Nice stretch for the inner thigh and the glute. Extend that bottom leg, reach through for the calf, the ankle, or the toes. Get a good stretch along the back of that extended leg now, in the hamstring, and again in the glute. You can circle that ankle one direction and then the other. And switch. Reaching through, head and shoulders and tailbone to the mat. Long extended spine. Extend that leg, reach through, try to come back down to the mat if you can. Circle that ankle. Other direction. Extend both legs, sit up, reach for your toes. More stretch for the back of those legs. Trying to keep the spine as straight as possible. Inhale and then exhale. You can drop down toward those legs. Roll yourself up. Let's use our chair or bar for a quick quad stretch. So facing the bar or chair, stand on one leg, grab the other foot. Quad stretch, trying to keep this hip down, keeping your hips square, so not opening this hip. You can bring that back a little. Don't let it put pressure on your lower back. You could just have the knee a little behind the other knee to make sure you're getting a good stretch in that hip flexor. Boats are always killer for me on the hip flexors. Other leg. Start with those knees parallel, square off the hips, make sure the shoulders are square. And then if you'd like, you can bring it an inch or two behind the knee, as long as that doesn't require you to arch your back. And standing on your mat, super wide second position. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, plie, knees over toes. Inhale up. Exhale, plie. One more time, inhale up. Exhale. And gentlemen, take your bow. Ladies, take your curtsy. Great to see you in class today. I hope to see you again next week.
Thank you. Great class.
Thank you.